You either live by the gun or you die by the sword.
The Good, the Bad, and the Weird podcast is where movies must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of cinephiles and the tears of directors and cast and crew who will probably never hear us talk about their movie. Welcome to the Good, the Bad, and the Weird podcast. I'm Nico.
And I'm Chris. And it's finally time for explosions.
Yes, lots and lots of explosions. We are kind of wrapping up last year, or continuing from last year's action-packed Nic Cage November with 2 more action-packed movies.
Absolutely, and we are finally getting to really dive into a true Michael Bay film.
I think this is the first Michael Bay movie we've even covered.
So. I also think so, because I rewatched it with the commentary, and I did make my poor husband watch the commentary version, which is the worst version, unfortunately. And it occurred to us that we haven't really had a chance to talk about King of Explosions himself, Michael Bay.
Nope, not at all. And, I mean, if you haven't guessed it, we are doing The Rock.
A classic in the action world, and just really a weird, wild movie once you really dig into it.
Yeah, so the story and screenplay are by David Weisberg and Douglas Cook, with screenplay by Mark Rosner, directed by Michael Bay, starring Nicholas Cage as Stanley Goodspeed, Sean Connery as John Patrick Mason, and Ed Harris as General Francis X. Hummel, and is about a general who tries to blackmail the U.S. government to pay people for their shady secrets, or dying for the American shady secrets.
Yes, this movie has aged strangely over the last couple years, I won't lie.
There's moments to it.
This movie has so much happening. It was... The other thing that is, like, really wild to see, and especially think about now, knowing even more of these actors' careers. Am I shocked to see Sean Connery and Ed Harris in the same movie? No. Am I shocked to see Nicolas Cage and Sean Connery and Ed Harris all in the same movie? Just a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a strange trio to mix together, and now that I know why it happened, I see it, it makes sense. But especially for where we were when this came out in 1996, this was kind of a really strange 3-acting cast to have on your main cover of your poster.
Yeah, I mean, you got Nicolas Cage, who's kind of in the middle of a bunch of action movies, and kind of that's his portion of his career right now. And then Sean Connery, obviously, the old school
legend.
Bond.
Yeah, the legend, Sean Connery. And remember, Cage was at this point really known for being, like, the weird Cage. We
hit and miss. He hadn't really gone fully off the rails yet. I mean, this is just after leaving Las Vegas, which was a major drama piece he did.
True.
I mean, he also previously done Kiss of Death, Trapped in Paradise. It Could Happen to You. He was still kind of coming out of this rom-com phase. The Rock is what really kicked him off as, like, this action hero, because this came before Con Air and Face Off.
It did. It definitely kicked off the action portion of Cage, but he definitely was not seen as an action or even a very serious lead. A lot of those previous roles were based very heavily off of, like, one character study, a lot of big development in that one character, and, like, he came across well enough. Like, we were still in young Cage, we was still in the I am in shape Cage, peacocking around Cage age.
Yeah.
But we had not, like, become both. Like, we had not fully developed ourselves into both the weirdest Cage and also the best acting Cage that he has now become.
Yeah, no, I can agree with that. It's still relatively early on in his career, but to be fair, he did also have some, like I said, leaving Las Vegas, which is one of his more serious and honestly depressing movies he's ever been in.
That's true. It is interesting to also hear, because there is wonderful commentary. I liked it. My husband was very bored. But Cage talks in the commentary, and he's very dry and kind of boring to listen to in commentary because he takes these roles very seriously, and I think that is part of the reason why he is was an odd pick for an action film, because at the time, and I mean still to an extent, but we've seen it work now, he dissects these characters and adds so much of his own flair to them.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas we know what character we're going to get with Ed Harris. He plays the exact same man in almost every role. And that's good. Like, that's what we want. We enjoy that. Sean Connery, despite being a phenomenal actor with a long repertoire of different acting prowess, jokingly said, "Oh, I'm getting to play a James Bond without being James Bond. Sign me up. I love that role." Mm-hmm. So he just reworked a character he already had. Cage came in to this swinging as far as this character is concerned. And it was an odd thing, but I do think that in the end that weird dynamic is part of what makes The Rock a movie that has managed to stand through time despite being a Bay action film.
Very much so, and Bay's, film-wise, only his second movie after Bad Boys in 95.
Very true, yeah.
And before we get into it, the commentary the sources for today's episode include the commentary that you've mentioned a couple times with Michael Bay, producer Jerry Brockheimer, Nicolas Cage, Ed Harris, and technical advisor ex-Navy SEAL Harry Humphreys, as well as a little bit of behind the scenes, but the DVD version I have is the out-of-print Criterion version, and it's early Criterion, so the special features are...
They're okay.
Yeah.
They're not the worst.
It's early DVDs as well.
Yeah, but I will say that the commentary is, I think, at least worth the bootleg copy everyone probably will now get of that interview, because it was very insightful, despite having a bit of a hard time following who was speaking when.
A little bit here and there.
It is a little bit.
So, before we get into The Rock, Chris, what are we drinking?
You have found a delightful beer called the Reasonably Corrupt.
Black Lager.
Very interesting.
Cheers.
Cheers. Robust. Smooth. Light body. Drink real beer.
A little chocolatey.
A little bit. It's fine.
No.
You don't like this one?
Not in the least.
I'm so sorry. You have 6 of them to get through.
You're taking them to Brian.
That's fine.
But The Rock. It starts off with a rather serious credits, or serious setting over credits, and contemplative dude and a funeral with an evacuation call.
This is the most basic-ass Michael Bay opening to almost any Michael Bay film ever. It starts with explosions. There's fire close-up scenes. There's military sadness that is unexplained, but we're gonna get told about in 5 seconds. Like, don't worry.
General walking in the rain because it's dramatic.
Also, I understand that this is a Michael Bay film and also an action Michael Bay film, so the continuity of this film should not be taken seriously. Why is it so damn sunny during this raining scene?
Probably because they have a fire hose off the side.
They 100% have a fire hose off to the side. This movie is a lot of fun if you watch it with the action, like, normal, just there for the entertainment movie that experience we expect from a Michael Bay film. But the 3 main actors are actors of great repertoire, so there is some digging that one can do if desired. The rest of the movie, minus those 3 guys, a little...
goofy.
That was really goofy.
Yeah. Well, and I think part of why this movie starts off a little odd and why it's kind of back and forth is it is this very serious setup of, there's a specific line in it where, like, you hear them calling in, and the last thing you hear them say is, "They're not coming for us, are they, sir?" And it's just like, okay, this is gonna get heavy, and especially when the general we realize his wife's dead because he's at her grave and he's put the rings away. It's kind of
so sad.
It's this, he's turning his back on the one thing he loved and, like, putting everything else behind him so he can focus on his mission. Kind of setting up a little bit more serious Doctor Strangelove.
Yes, there's also not a whole lot of, like, mystery or waiting to be told any of this stuff. These flashbacks are immediate. They are whiplashy. The few, like, hints of what's happening are just blatantly told to us as we pass by other guards or as passing, like, the amount of telling us about our own plot that all of these characters do is really hard and heavy.
Yeah, a little bit later on, because I think in the very first couple scenes there's still a little bit of mystery of what's actually going on, because, I mean, we get the raid right after that kind of opening bit.
True.
And we see that they're using non-lethal weapons, although if you're not paying attention, it looks like they're killing them.
Yeah, there is one guy who does fall out of the watchtower. Not sure if he made it.
Also, that watchtower's glass and mulligans are real weak.
Yeah, that glass does not meet code, in just case anyone was wondering.
Yeah. But it is a way, if you are paying attention, that they're using dart guns and just trying to stun everyone.
Yeah.
They're going in with non-lethal force. So it sets it up as a little bit different than, like, your standard, like, oh, Bond, someone stealing weapons and killing everyone that comes across their path. Very
true. I did enjoy that they did hire an actual military specialist to come in and kind of guide everyone through this, make it feel very realistic. They asked his perspective on, like, how would you do this, and that's why the beanbags, as opposed to just shooting everyone, I think. Mm-hmm. That is fun as a very odd little detail, partially because a lot of this movie, almost all of this movie, is filmed on location, whether that location is Alcatraz or the hotel. Mm-hmm. There's a teeny tiny amount that's on sets, but the majority is on location, to the point where they just kind of brought the expert to Alcatraz and was like, all right, how would you take out this mission? And he's like, I fire over there and fire over there and bam, bam, bam. And they're like, we're gonna film that. Yeah. And so there is fun to be had there. It is also just so out of most people's lexicons that the beanbag guns are a little humorous the second and third time you watch this, but still fun. Oh, very much so. The one thing I do want to say with this opening bit is this theme song is so fun. While epic, it ends up feeling like super, like, I know it's supposed to be like a military kind of march. It's supposed to be. But it becomes so repetitive. And at times it just is a little bit much with everything that's going on, because it doesn't change its pace, it doesn't change its cadence. And I forgot who actually wrote it, but Nick, Glennie Smith, and Hans Zimmer are the composers for this. Yes, but they worked alongside a couple other people who are well-known composers in the industry. So there's quite a lot of, like, mashups happening. Don't get me wrong, I like Zimmer's music. I do think most of the time pretty on the point, some pretty big well-known hits. I couldn't care less about the music in this movie. No, it's only this, like, I don't remember any of the other other parts of the soundtrack except for this theme, because it is used over and over again whenever there's, like, something super dynamic and actiony happening. Which is a lot of this movie, in case you were somehow confused by what movie we were talking about. I agree. This music is both incredibly unforgettable and yet rammed down my ear holes. Very much so. It's not bad music. It's at least not, like, poorly picked music. But it's not the stellar action score that, like, I think they thought it was going to be. Because they didn't even wait for this movie to, like, start bringing in money before they released the CD for this movie. Oh, shocking. They, like, went to theaters, released the CD the same weekend almost. And I don't think that was a good idea. I kind of think this music should have just only existed on the movie. I 100% agree, but that is just kind of the thing with every movie, is they gotta have a stellar soundtrack to make that little bit extra money up. That's true. That has become, especially by this point in the mid-90s, we kind of expected a music CD release of any single movie, including kids' films. And sometimes we got some really great, stellar soundtracks, even if it's just mashups of, like, pop songs or whatever. And then sometimes we just really didn't need that to exist. Yeah, the Shrek soundtrack. Wow. Oh, a delight. A beautiful delight. The 101 Dalmatian soundtrack. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah. But even movies like Sleepless in Seattle had a big release for their CDs, and somehow I own one. I don't think I ever watched that movie when it came out, but someone in my family loved it enough to buy it. And part of it was, did you like the movie? You're going to buy some merch. The music is easy merch. Very much so. But I also like how while we have this epic moment going on, we have this more return to seriousness, where one of the guys gets trapped in with it, whatever they're trying to steal, this chemical that they're trying to get. I like that the chemical is in small round green bubbles that do look like the bobble seaweed that is now like a thing that you can eat. Granted, in 1996, I don't think it was a well-known ingredient here in the United States, but like now I'm like, oh, look at the seaweed, how cute.
I was thinking other ball and chains, but that's
sure,
that's something else.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, no, it's I like this scene because it does set up that okay, it's not all fun and games, even though they're taking these people out. It's okay, what they're handling is very dangerous, and something bad is being set up as we watch.
I agree. I love fake chemicals made up for movies.
This one's partially real.
This one is partially real. The reason why this one is fake enough that everyone who has ever seen this movie should realize that this is a fake chemical is it goes from, if you just stab yourself in the heart with the antidote, to it melts your skin and suits off.
Yes.
We start with the melting of the skin version. We get real bubbly really quickly. Great effect. Looks really fun and cool. Not the best effect, but it's only on screen for a few seconds.
Yeah, we're not a horror film. It's an action movie. You have to just have it show enough to shock the audience.
And it was fun. I like that we even got to see it, because a lot of times we'll just get some, like, bad makeup, character dies off screen, oh gosh, it eats your flesh, and we run.
It doesn't go full Planet Terror with it.
This one we do get a nice little quick scene of the man melting. Not horror level,
it's
but
not ball sacks gooping out into the ground like in Planet Terror.
In fact, but we do get some nice moving goop on the face. He dies, we get to see him die.
Yeah.
Nice touch for an action film. But then the what the chemical does changes. How much the chemical does changes. And just expands and fills whatever need you need this chemical to do.
Soft chemistry.
Really is truly mwah, a delight to watch.
Oh yeah. No, it's a good way to really set up, like, regardless, you don't have to care about the science enough, you just have to know it's this dangerous.
Absolutely.
And I think it's also kind of funny how, like, we go from this serious moment to this nerd shooting a Rube Goldberg in some random dialogue about how CDs aren't good enough, and he is getting the first printing of vinyl, all because Cage was is super into vinyls, but was in like a weird phase at that time of getting like really into them even more, and he wanted to work it in for whatever reason to like try and work in the Rocket Man line later on in the movie too.
Yeah, essentially this was mostly just Cage once again making his personal hobby the film's business, which would eventually become a problem. We haven't reached problem status just yet with Cage. This movie's we're still writing some tax offs for these purchases, and that's his business.
Not yet. We still got like another decade and a half until the whole...
When he claims that happened, I firmly believe that he took this vinyl home with him.
Okay. Well, okay, yeah, he probably did take... The vinyl's probably a prop, to be honest.
Probably. However, the vinyl is the actual cover. This is the vinyl you can buy. They didn't like make it up for the movie,
it's
which
a
happens.
reproduction.
It is. However, as someone who has friends who are very into the vinyl business and records in general, and especially rare records, I did ask them, like, hey, is this something that you would get so excited at your desk in 1996 that you received this? And they informed me, no, this is like the shittiest version of this record you can buy. This is like, it's not value, like its value hasn't even increased over the years. This is the basic Walmart-ass version of this record.
Not the actual first printing that he says it is.
No, it's not.
Or first pressing.
First pressing. No, it's probably not.
Okay.
Granted, this is a movie version. They can lie to us all they want. But I did find it funny that, like, this was really just Cage taking a hobby he hadn't fully, like, developed yet and bringing it into a movie to, like, continue that hobby. A fun little quirk that is now in this character forever and eternity. But not a fully, like, developed thing that we will see him, like, do this later with characters, and it works better because he's had time to, like, have hobbies and, like, develop those hobbies later.
Yeah, it's just a weird moment in the movie, too, because it goes right from there to them having to inspect some potentially dangerous baggage that turns out to be a doll full of sarin gas that gets triggered by moving its arm.
I love this, because not only does it get triggered by not just moving the arm once, which would have been, like, a realistic trigger. You have to, like, pump the arm a ton of times, and then its eyes open when it spurts gas out of its mouth. This is so stupid. I love it.
Well, and I looked it up. If I remember right, it's sarin gas, and it only degrades rubber or plastic when it's in liquid form, not
aerosolized.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing that I really love about this is you can really tell where the writing team and Cage diverged on this character. Cage really wanted a nerdy, softer sort of, I don't want to be in the field, very, very down-to-earth, in touch with his feelings sort of nerd character.
Mm-hmm.
He talks about it a lot, endlessly, at just about every junction in the commentary where he had, like, a direct input to the movie. And then knowing that this character was originally meant to be, like the rest of the characters, hardened, action hero, sort of, like, steely.
Yeah, they keep saying, hey, you are a trained, I forget
field
what branch
agent or
the,
whatever.
I forget which branch of the military is supposed to be in. Because, see, that doesn't even matter.
FBI, I think, is the most generic form.
Yeah, but, I mean, it's all there just to show that Godspeed is good with his skills. That's also his name. His name is Godspeed.
What a name. What a useless, dumb name.
Goodspeed, not Godspeed.
You know what? Godspeed would have maybe been better. Goodspeed is an unfortunate name to have in an action film.
Oh, very much so. Especially if you're a desk guy. / not really a desk guy because you're in a chamber.
Okay, I'm glad you saw that just now, because that was my biggest gripe, is Cage had such a different idea for this movie than what the writers made him do, because it's part of the plot. We have to prove that he can do this. And yet, every action that Cage takes with this character directly defies this moment.
I see 100% where you're coming from with that. And the weird thing is, like, this is the only moment that he has anything like that.
Exactly.
Because he goes from this to being nude on his couch.
Yes, which was another Cage choice.
Because he was actually supposed to be wearing, like, a purple Speedo or something underneath it.
I agree with Cage for once. I do think the Speedo would have been better. Not because it would have been interesting like what Heath said. I just think that'd be hilarious.
Yeah. And I think this part really would have worked with him being nerdier. Because it would have been like, okay, it's a day that he's had to go in and actually do something with it. Because he does mention he's unfortunately a man who likes his work.
Yes. The other thing that, like, kind of throws this character for a little bit of a loop is Cage is currently right off of, like we said, the rom-com and the romantic actions and the drama pieces, which involved him being incredibly fit for a lot of his early works. He's still very fit for this movie because it's an action film. However, this directly goes against everything Cage sets up for this character as well, and yet, because it's Cage, and Cage is incredibly proud of his physique at this point in his life, which, like, I get it, he clearly worked hard for it. They spend a lot of time just being like, well, we have to get Cage's naked chest in this film somehow.
Yeah. I mean, how can you not want to see his...
I mean, if we're going to be forced to look at naked Cage, this is maybe the best shape and time period for Cage, I guess.
I mean, it's the best outfit to have when your significant other tells you that she's pregnant.
Yeah, this was another part where Cage had very strong feelings about where the character should, like, emotions should be, and I think it once again makes a bit of a rift in like the character, and not for a bad reason. I do like that Cage thinks so deeply about his characters. We see much later in his career how, like, it turned out to be one of his best assets. I know he gets goofy for a while, but, like, we've seen his more recent films where that sort of logic and that acting pays off well.
Oh, Chris.
But it takes a long time to get there.
After this, I have 2 clips to show you from The Gunslinger.
Oh, no.
It came out this year.
I haven't seen it yet, yeah.
There's some questionable acting. There's choices that were made.
You know what? At least he is keeping it experimental and fresh, I guess.
Yeah.
But like, I do see his logic here. It's just unfortunate because he's not part of the writing group. He's brought on at the normal time for an actor in an action film, which is right before you shoot. So it's not like he had time to work with everyone to be like, oh, later in the movie when such and such thing happens, we need to, like, work in a little dialogue or work in a little bit different, like, music or acting here. Yeah,
well, and on top of that, like, she proposes to him, so it's still kind of laying into that weakness of him as a kind of like this.
Yeah, he won't even propose to his pregnant girlfriend.
Yeah, she's the one who has to do it.
Yeah, he, like, does not seem interested at all.
By the way, listeners, this is all within the first 15 minutes of this movie.
This movie's pacing is immaculate. I won't lie.
Oh, very much so.
Because we're quickly approaching the part that honestly most people were excited for, and that is Sean Connery in an action film.
Oh.
And we get to this quickly.
No, we don't get to Sean Connery until like 30-40 minutes into the movie. Like,
I know, but like for a build-up, especially knowing that the director really wanted this to be like the big reveal. Like, oh my gosh, look, it's Sean Connery. How exciting. Look how cool he looks. Knowing that this was meant to be like the big reveal, only waiting 30 minutes, I'll take it.
oh no, like we still have a lot more before we even get to him.
I know, we pack a lot of things into this movie.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the other thing too, like, I know I heard someone, I think it might have been something on TikTok, someone talking about how we are lacking in the big reveals anymore because everything is so accessible online.
True. I think the only way you would really know who was in this film would have been the cover poster. There was some ads for this, as there always are. I mean, it's 1996. But this wasn't like a heavily promotioned or previewed film. It didn't have like 3 or 4 different previews running. It didn't have any beforehand trailers or concerts or games to like lead up to it like we've seen with other movies.
Yeah.
This movie just was kind of like we're making this movie and it happens to have these 3 amazing guys in it, and it accidentally became a cult classic.
Yeah, because the producers did mention that it took them, I think, 7 years to even get The Rock greenlit.
But that makes sense knowing that they wanted to film on location and they got told, sure, but the tours must continue, which means we are filming around people actively coming and pointing at Alcatraz and be like, ooh,
yeah.
Ah.
But it is interesting where we have this nerd introduced to go back to Hummel and invading the island of Alcatraz.
Yes, this is hilarious to me.
Where it's showing that he's not a bad guy because he gets the kids off the island to show that he isn't a monster, but instead takes the other tourists as hostages.
I do like that the children are the line we're drawing in the sand for where the bad guyness starts and stops. Like, the children on a school tour? No, they need to go. The person who's flown halfway across the country to come see a historical monument?
Yep.
Screw those people.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is like everyone else is so serious, but the tourists are used as for a little bit of comedy to break the tension.
Just a little bit, yeah.
And to be honest, for most of this movie, I forget that the hostages are there, and then the movie has to remind us multiple times that, hey, by the way, the reason they're not bombing the hell out of this island is there's these group of tourists.
Also, it's something that, like, now I think we would be much more, like, aware of, as opposed to, like, when this movie came out, the option of, well, just bomb the historic landmark would have been a very viable action comedy sort of thing to do. Like, oh, movie over, dun dun dun.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I think we would all know, like, oh, this is it houses the oldest operating lighthouse on the west coast of the United States. Like, that would be, can we figure out a way to not bomb that? It's actively crumbling into the ground and we can do nothing to stop it. Maybe we wait just a little while and it will just fall down around them. Like, this, I do appreciate that they do explain, like, oh, well, the reason we don't just, like, shoot this place up is because obviously the prisoners in the jail from the 1930s.
Yeah. Well, I think the other thing is this scene is also meant to set up like the consequences and kind of like what they're wishing to be remembered as will be remembered as traitors initially, but so were our founding fathers. But now they were recognized as patriots, and one day we will too.
An interesting take on history.
Yeah, and all this for them each getting $1 million, which, might I remind you?
Yeah, this is the 90s.
A year later, Austin Powers came out.
Yes, with the famous line.
$1 million. Sir, $1 million isn't actually that much this time. So,
yeah.
And granted, I mean, it's going to be about, $30-40 million by the time they're said and done. It's still not as much as, what we think.
And here's the thing. They make a little bit of a deal, because again, we have to, sympathize with the quote-unquote bad guy. Mm-hmm. And so they mentioned that part of each person's million is going to their families. Not all of it. Mm-hmm. Just part of it.
Yeah, because they're there to fight the illegal operations and the government lies for uncompensating the men that they've sent to die on secret missions and then lying about what they were even trying to do.
I hear them. I totally understand that. How much of the $1 million is going to the sad, weeping widows and orphans of these men? Like, 1%? 50? 60? How much are we talking here? Because, like, the way they set it up is clearly to, like, have you sympathize with them and be like, oh, they're not that bad of guys. Yeah, that's terrible that would happen. They do not tell you, like, the actual logistics of this quote-unquote charity case. They just are like, we should be compensated as well. So we figured out, like, our pay plus their pay, and we're just gonna tell you $1 million, and we'll figure it out.
He says an amount, and he says what percentage of that amount is supposed to go to those people, and then he wants $1 million for everyone else.
Yeah, they try very hard to make him a sympathetic character.
Yeah, at least he's open about who he is, and, like, they're setting the goals from the get-go. It's not trying to be obtuse of, like, oh, he's actually not wanting to bomb these people. He's just kind of using them as a tactic to try and get the government to bend to his will.
Very true. And then from this scene forward until the couple of clips back to the prisoners, we move to parts of Alcatraz that most of us would not recognize. Mm-hmm. Because, again, they were filming on the active tourist-filled island of Alcatraz and didn't want to stop filming because tours were happening, which means we are now going to watch all of the bits of Alcatraz that no one cares about because it's crumbling into the ocean.
Yeah, like the showers.
Yeah, don't give a shit about the Alcatraz showers. We did get to see, like, the main bay. Glad we got that scene in there. We, like, quickly see part of the exterior, but it's clearly not, like, the part that most of us would recognize if you've been on the tour or, like, seen photos of the island. Because that part is super touristy and has, like, billboards and signs they weren't allowed to take down. So they were like, we'll just film, like, the backside of the island.
Hey, it works. I mean, you believe they're on Alcatraz because they are.
That's true. And, like, this movie is also definitely not made for people who are, like, into and interested in the real Alcatraz. Because this doesn't make any sense if you are.
I have some questions later on about some of the layout of this building.
I will try my best to explain it on my long deep dive of Alcatraz that I went on.
Yeah. Oh, but yeah, there is 20 men in this group, by the way.
Yes, 20 individuals who agreed to become traders.
Or no, it was 20 men that they left behind to die. That's who's getting the money.
Yeah, 20 families are getting some money, maybe, sort of.
Well, and I like that it's him dropping classified information to, like, show he's serious, and then, like, for all the higher-ups, we have to explain the VX gas with the lethalities, because also us as the audience doesn't know what exactly this does, say with the generals.
I do love, though, that as they tell the generals, they tell them and explain some plot hole potential and, like, whoosh it away, all while telling us as the audience in kind of, like, a very dumb and condescending way. Like, we're just all gathered around a table being like, what is this thing? What does it do? How do we neutralize it?
And they can't. That's the great thing that I like about this is all the gas is so fragile and it can just wipe out entire city blocks. But they don't have any weaponry to try and counter it other than, like...
Yeah, it's not like...
we
can sprinkle some baking soda on it and neutralize it or anything. They're just like, no, we didn't bother to figure that part out.
Yeah, we were in the process of it, but we got someone who can defuse bombs.
The other thing that is very odd and why I really, like, hammer home just a second ago that this movie isn't made for people who are actually interested in Alcatraz is why is this deadly gas on Alcatraz when just a little way up the harbor is an active military fort? Like, why Alcatraz? Why here?
Because it sounds cool.
That's honestly the only reason.
And you have to go back and relate to, like, Escape from Alcatraz with Clint Eastwood.
Yes. No, that is 100% the only reason.
And it's cool. I mean,
it is cool. But, like, this is what I say, like, I went on a long, deep dive, historic rabbit hole of Alcatraz and realized that, like, just up the channel is, like, a better location. Well, but it doesn't sound as cool.
That's probably where they stole the gas from.
It's where the helicopters are definitely coming from.
Well, it's an isolated island. They can see who's ever coming to them.
And so is the other place?
Well, no, because here's the thing. So on that one, they'd have to take over all the other people guarding it and all the other military men that can come in.
That's true. On Alcatraz, we only have to take over the like 5 people who run the tour sites.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Who have key cards and I'll stand around right next to the door their key card goes to. Feels very point and click game, but you know, who am I to complain?
It's fine.
It's fine. It makes the action much faster than having to like run around the island and be like, where's Jim? He has the key card we need. Oh, Jim's on lunch. He went home.
Yeah. Well, and also, like, this is the part where, okay, now we have the buildup of the conflict, and now the government has to bring their own rocket man, who is giving his rocket to his fiancée.
Oh my goodness.
Which...
This is a really dumb scene, I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, so I get the point of the scene. It's just supposed to set up that little bomb under the table of, like, okay, blindness of good speed of thinking, oh, it's just a training. Just come and hang out with me, and we'll hang out after it. But, like, the scene itself
is so awkward.
There are so many candles.
This building is a fire hazard now.
They're on top of their roof too.
Anyone could see them.
Well, and that's the other thing too. She's like, "Well, how do they know you're home?" The FBI knows, baby. It's like,
do they?
Yeah.
This is 1996 FBI. Remember?
Yeah. Well, it's also funny too because it adds that little bit of humor that the only reason they're getting, or not the only reason, but part of what's pushing them to get married is because she's unmarried and Catholic.
Oh my God. Yeah. The other thing that I really love is this line does kind of bite them in the ass later in the film. Because if the FBI knows where he is all the time, why doesn't the FBI know where she is all the time?
Because she's just a civilian.
But she's clearly not.
She is. She's 100% a civilian.
She is a civilian. However, she is an important enough civilian that if your weird monkey man who's coming to help you with your gas rockets goes missing, and oh my God, we have terrorists who are interested in this man, maybe we keep an eye on the closest person to him.
No, the terrorists have no idea who this guy is right now.
Yet. Again, though, this is like a weird little, like, oh, the FBI... Because again, 1996 FBI. We don't have all the cameras, and the cameras we do, we have to enhance. Enhance! Can you clear up the image?
I'm sure there's some other stuff we didn't know about.
I'm sure, but remember, this is a movie. 1996 FBI movie. So, like, the cameras we have are shit. There's a lot of enhancing to be done. The few cameras from space are, like, the worst cameras from space. There's no Jason Bourne in this film to just, like, know mythically where everyone is at all times, somehow. Yeah. So, like, later on in this movie, when she's now, you know, an asset to be used against him, the FBI just, like, does not give a shit.
Well, because what they're not going to use anything against it. That's the other thing, too, is, like, the terrorists don't know about her. They never find out about her. She's only there to give Goodspeed teeth in the game, or skin in the game of, like, okay, he has to do this because otherwise now his fiancé and child are in they're in the direct danger zone.
Sure.
Yeah. So that's the whole reason of this purpose, is to get her down to where he will be at, basically.
Absolutely. Could we have done this in a less awkward scene?
Yes.
Oh, 100%. This is so weird. Especially knowing that Cage based this scene off of his own personal interactions with people. I don't know if I would have said that out loud to a tape recorder, but I'm not Nicolas Cage, so there's that.
I mean, hell, someone was probably happy it was Nicolas Cage.
At this point in history, probably. But don't worry, he makes it very clear he doesn't do this anymore because he's a married man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and I like that once we get him in there, we're trying to set up the plans to infiltrate, but the plans are shit because renovations are forcing their hands because there's all this, like, shit show of, like, nothing's actually lining up, like the H.H. Holmes house, and now they gotta bring in their secret con artist, the only man to have ever escaped Alcatraz successfully, who's in a cell reading Shakespeare and the Art of War.
I love it. Also, in case anyone was interested, according to Alcatraz themselves, their own government website, no one has actually ever escaped Alcatraz. There are 5 people who have assumed drowned, not confirmed, just assumed.
Technically escape, but escape and survive are completely different things.
Yes, no one has made it and lived.
I think there was like one person, maybe.
Supposedly, according to their website, no one made it. One man was gunned down. A couple men were gunned down. Multiple drowned. Couple froze. 5 are, quote-unquote, missing, assumed drowned. They're the best chance we've got. So, Sean Connery, 1 in a million.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is the part where they're really trying to make Goodspeed an unfortunate person who likes his desk job and is not the field agent.
They're pushing this angle so hard on him.
Yeah, which, I mean, that's the other thing, too, is, like, he's immediately the expert. They're like, oh, what about this gas? He's like, oh, it's the one thing we wish we could disinvent. And it's like,
this man...
The atomic bomb, maybe?
I feel like there's a handful of things we wish we could have, like, maybe done away with.
Yeah.
Or done differently, but this is it? Okay. Don't question it, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it's not really supposed to be, like, his big scene either. This is the reveal of Mason, and it's his way to show his intelligence in the interrogation room.
Okay, but this reveal of Sean Connery is pretty damn cool.
Yeah.
I mean, first off, they've managed to make Sean Connery a famously politely put together, yet dangerous man. They gave him biker hair. They made him disgruntled. He looks cool!
They also did that with Jackie Chan in Iron Mask.
He also looked cool!
Yeah.
But that was Jackie Chan, and there's always a little air of silliness to Jackie.
Yeah.
Which he puts there. I don't think there's ever been a silliness to Sean Connery.
Yeah, Indiana Jones. He's a little silly.
As the dad character, yeah. But like a serious dad who's very concerned for his son, named after the dog, Indy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's he's just a little bumbling, and is what's silly about him.
Yes. There. This one they've gone for hardened criminal. And it's cool.
Yeah, well, and it's also a scene to show that Goodspeed is intellectually roughly on the same level as Mason.
True. It does bring their characters to a better playing field. Because even without having hardly any time on screen yet, we get the first impression that Connery's character is way above and better than just about everyone in this building at the moment.
Well, and so is Goodspeed, too, because it's kind of like testing his goodwill. I know he's always thinking about trying to get out, but it's Goodspeed showing his side of being a good guy, of like, hey, let's get him unshackled. Let's get him a cup of coffee. Like,
yeah, treat him like a normal guy. Maybe he'll be a little better to us.
Exactly, because he doesn't know. He's just there, kind of like awkwardly doing a field job, because otherwise the people who actually want to interrogate him are gonna give the whole game away.
Yeah, essentially.
But this is really the first pushing the desk guy into field work and out of his comfort zone. And it also does feel like Mason's testing him in his own way too, of like, what is this guy's deal? What is he trying to gain from me? And it's like
he's playing chess. Yeah.
And unfortunately, Goodspeed is out here playing the game of sorry.
Honestly, yeah. I love that Connery really did take a lot of inspiration from his work as James Bond. There's a lot of very cool action scenes that he pulls off so smooth and seamlessly. They feel very natural, like he's practiced them 1,000 times. I think it looks and works really well, especially with this breakout scene.
Yeah, just like, this little thing he got his hands on, he was able to cut the glass and break through, and he immediately knew who was behind it. Like, that's why he went for the glasses, so that way he could show that, hey, you might have some power over me, but hey, I'm still dangerous here, man.
Okay, and that specific scene where he breaks through the glass and like pokes his head into the room should have been a little bit goofy, because it sounds goofy on paper. Both the lighting and the camera work and Connery come together to make it almost a really menacing scene, because he still has the really long hair. He's got this very like intense gaze that he's been like decided to go with for this character role. It works perfectly. And I won't lie, I'm not a huge fan of Michael Bay's film style. No. A lot of it's very quick. It's a lot of quick zooming in. There's a lot of choppiness. It's fun, but it's hard to watch for me. It feels very like almost whiplashy at times. This scene to me was like outstanding. I wanted more of this kind of camera direction. Yeah. This kind of lighting direction. This felt very dynamic. It felt very like powerful even. Like he felt like a guy who could really do some harm.
Yeah, I can see where you're going with that. I mean, I haven't really seen a whole lot of Bay.
I have, because I love action films. And don't get me wrong, I do like Michael Bay films. I like a lot of the overtopness. I like the big explosions that he's known for. I love a car chase scene in the middle of a normal movie. But his film work isn't something that I'm like aspiring to. I'm not studying it by any means.
No.
But he has moments.
Oh yeah, no, I know someone, and Tyler, if you listen to this, I'm sorry if we were shitting on Bay a little bit. I know you're a big fan.
I get it. Like, I do think he puts together fun works, but we're not getting any interesting art angles here.
No.
We're not getting any, like, classic styling that is so clearly a Bay film.
It works well commercially because I know he did music videos before this, so he's got that sense of feel of action to something that has to be quick paced.
And I think a lot of that music video, like quick zooms, the intensity and focusing in the eyes or in the face, then moving back and away to the car in a like dynamic way, it all makes sense. It all is cool to look at. It's just normally not my cup of tea. I do think he's got scenes though in this movie that I really do enjoy.
Yeah. Well, and also this scene too is supposed to be Goodspeed's first introduction to the shadier side of the government.
Yeah, which is fun because, again, Cage really wanted this to be like a goody two-shoes kind of guy. Granted, he has his flaws, as all Cage characters do, but he wanted him to be a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more just like, I enjoy my job, I go home, I play guitar naked, I love my fiancé lady. Great. And yet, we keep getting written into these, like, corners of, like, and now action! And it's just a fun, weird combo that, like, never fully works itself out, and so watching it with that level of study makes this a really weird watch.
It is almost a buddy cop comedy, or it's
at times
a buddy comedy at times, like Bad Boys was a bit.
Yeah, it has a lot of those reminiscences of, like, the characters not quite jiving.
Yeah, and that's where the humor from that comes in, too, because there's that little bit of comedicness to how they interact, but on top of that, we have other funny characters like the stylist.
I love this hairstylist. He is the worst character in this movie. He was put in, and multiple people on set, including Cage, went, I don't know if he should be here. He feels a little offensive. And yet he stayed, and he is funny. Yeah. He's a little on the nose, but at the same time, like, he's barely in this film. Yeah. There's no other truly comedic characters.
Well, we all know a gay man who's like that too, so it's
I
not...
follow one on YouTube who's exactly like this.
Exactly. It's not a character. It's like when Robin Williams was afraid of doing his role in the Birdcage, and it's like, no, you're playing a realistic character.
Yes, and I mean, he does work, and I think the part of the reason why he works is he's in this movie for like 5 minutes total. Exactly.
He's the comedic relief while all the other chaos is happening in the escape, because honestly, it is showing Womack's great skill, not Womack, Mason's great skill by distracting everyone else with food.
Throwing people off of roofs.
While also calling Womack out for being a hypocrite.
Please note that, again, like we said earlier, most of this film is filmed on location. This scene is included. So they did have, I believe, a stunt guy, I don't think it was the actual actor, hanging off the roof. And I guess a lot of people did call in to be like, hey, you have a man dangling. Are you okay?
I can see that. But it's just to show that he hasn't lost his skill while he's been caged up the entire time. And he
has like a few MacGyver-esque stylings happening. It's not just Bond. It's very creative.
Yeah, well, it's also another way to force Goodspeed into field work, because all the other agents are worried about getting Womack back to safety.
I love that this guy, who's, again, meant to be the nerdy little desk guy who doesn't like or even do field work, is the only one managing to keep up with him. Like, not even like, oh, on accident he is, like, just happening to be, like, falling into success. No, he's the most competent man here somehow.
Well, that's the thing, is, like, even though he is supposed to be a kind of meekish man a little bit, it's that his training is coming back and he's actually cut out for field work. He's become comfortable in the position he was in life, and now he's being forced out of the cushiness of his position, even though, like, he had to take a day off because of dealing with sarin gas.
Yeah. I also love that we get a classic Michael Bay car chase here.
Oh yeah, great explosions, chaos.
None of this makes any sense when you actually, like, slow down and watch scene by scene of what's being hit, what's exploding.
Yeah, breaking
But it doesn't matter.
Well, it does matter a couple times. There's one thing in this where Mason also has more character shown. He avoids an old granny because he isn't a monster. He'll blow everything else up, but God forbid he runs into an old granny.
The most old granny to ever be typecast as an old granny legitimately looks like someone dressed up as old granny for Halloween. Wig, little walker, the works. Mm-hmm. Hilarious.
Yeah, well, and also on top, like, it's that little bit of, like, you can see it as a comedic moment of, like, okay, of course he's going to avoid the old grandma. It's a very Acme kind of cartoonish moment. But we also have the comedy broken up by the trolley conductor.
Yes, absolutely. Like, there's a good bit of seriousness to this chase that later Michael Bay films we kind of just only focus on the action. There's a lot less humor, I think. I like that this one has like a balance to it, because there's not a lot of humor elsewhere in this film.
Or there's too much humor, like Transformers 2 with the balls on the...
Okay, but that was a bad sequel. The first one was trying to be serious, just unfortunately wasn't.
Yeah, it was serious enough.
They tried very hard to make it serious, and unfortunately it just ended up with weird robots who are kind of hot, but not. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about Transformers. They have their own fandom, and we don't need to be part of it.
Yeah, I'm going to avoid that for now.
Yeah.
But it's also in this chase scene, too, where Goodspeed is trying to figure out where he's going. And it's also just revealing more issues with the government to him, like, to the point that the only reason Mason wants to even reach out to his daughter is because he says that she's the only thing out there that even shows that he ever even slightly existed.
Very poetic, I guess.
Well, it is. I think it's a good way to, like, really humanize him as a character of, like, he's not a bad guy. Mm-hmm. He just wants one simple thing in life, and that's to see the one thing that he even maybe had a chance to care about before they locked him up.
True.
And also, like, I like that to keep the movie going, his daughter gets right to the point of, like...
She doesn't let the audience question what's happening for a second.
Mm-mm.
All of the backstory you could possibly need, she tells us immediately.
Yeah, well, because you got to get us caught up to be like, okay, he's been out of her life her entire existence mostly. She only vaguely knows of him.
Yeah, she's an idea to him at best.
Yeah, no, exactly. He's like, you wouldn't even remember me, but she knows enough.
Yeah.
But it's also not just to get us caught up to speed and reveal the evils of the American government to Goodspeed. It also gives Goodspeed the opportunity to, again, be kind to Mason, treat him like a human and save his dignity in front of his daughter. Like, hey, you're mission critical. I know you had to run out and grab lunch, but we gotta get back, man.
Yeah, it is done surprisingly well for a movie like this.
Yeah, not the fact that, oh, she's been in prison the entire time. I like that that's never revealed to his daughter either. It's just like, he just had to disappear for a while.
Exactly.
I mean, we still haven't really gotten even into Alcatraz, and this is like almost halfway through the movie. But the one thing I do appreciate in the little detailings is, one, for some reason, they have a full scaled model of Alcatraz available to them relatively easily.
I love that.
Like, presentation level model of Alcatraz.
I like to imagine they've borrowed it from whatever, like, visitor center.
Yeah. And also, like, all the blueprints that they have are actual blueprints, but they're also damaged, and, like, they can't actually overlay because, as we know, working with old buildings and paper documents...
They're all wrong. They're always wrong.
They're always wrong.
They're always wrong.
Or there's been a renovation in between something and something else, and that was the most recent changes, but they don't have it documented for some reason.
Or, heaven forbid, a random man who was supposed to fix the AC came in and also built a room while he was at it. Mm-hmm. Didn't bother to tell anybody. Yeah. Just put up a wall.
Yeah, well, it's also, all of this is just to build up a, like, okay, because all these plans are wrong, we only have one guy who's gotten out of Alcatraz, who knows the way in and out.
Sure.
And also, it's forcing Goodspeed back into, like, he's trying to get out because he's like, I really don't want to be here, but no one else can defuse like him. He can, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, they have proven all of this to us. Unfortunately, there is one major, massive plot hole to all of what we just said. Mm-hmm. This is Alcatraz.
Yeah.
One of our nation's most interesting and historic monuments on that side of the coast. It's 100% been scanned to an inch of its life. We do, in fact, know where everything in Alcatraz is.
It's the 90s.
No. Yeah.
It's believable.
No. Someone spent their entire college career probably making tiny models of this damn thing.
Yeah.
Which is one of the things where, unfortunately, you just kind of have to suspend your belief for this, because, again, we talked about it. The reason why it's Alcatraz, it's cool. That's kind of the only reason, because a lot of this would make sense for literally any other location but Alcatraz. The Walmart down the street, I would have believed it 100%. The random island up that has a base, yeah, a lot of military stuff happens that, like, yeah, maybe we aren't keeping really good plans, especially in the 90s. There's paper copies, whatever. Alcatraz. No, we do in fact know where everything is.
But do they keep the plans up to date of what's fallen into the ocean?
Yes, actually, we kind of, like, watch it happen in horror. There's nothing we can do. And again, they're filming on set, so this isn't like we didn't realize. People actively are staring at Alcatraz every day.
Yeah.
But, again, it's there because it's cool, and, like, if this was an Alcatraz, 100% believable. So just, like, pretend that they've picked a different location, or, like, pretend it's not that historically important, and it's probably fine.
It's a good location.
It is a cool location. They just didn't film the cool parts.
Yeah. But I also like where it goes with this, too, of how this forces Goodspeed into being into more field with.
I do, too.
But again, I mean, we've seen him be capable in it, but the biggest thing is, this is where it really gets his teeth in the game, is that, or skin in the game, is that the reason he's nervous and why his stomach's doing hula hoops around his ass
Absolutely.
is because his pregnant girlfriend is on the way, and yeah, he can't get her to...
He can't get her to not show up, which, okay, I guess.
Yeah.
It's such a, like, I don't really care, it's just enough of a reason that I really don't care that, like, there's no one you can be like, hey, can you go grab her from the airport real quick and, like, drive her anywhere else?
Yeah.
Nobody? Don't worry about it.
Okay. To be fair, they do try. He tries calling her to say, hey, FYI, this isn't a training mission. She's like, I don't believe you. Still comes.
Yeah.
There was someone there to pick her up to escort her to safety, and she's like, no, I want to go see my boo.
Yeah, cute, sweet. I don't care, though.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. I like that they gave him some reason. I like that we, like, showed the reason as best we could. A little weird, but it worked. But at the end of the day, I don't care about her.
No, she is just the single point that is supposed to push Goodspeed into action.
Yeah, it really is the only thing.
And also tie him into Mason a little bit more, and I'll get into that just down the line. But I also like, as we are going into the mission, there's that continued nervousness around the others. I mean, there's a solid warning not to mess around with us or we'll kill you all. And
they're trying to be very serious here.
Yeah. Well, also the dive is really cool, knowing that the larger shots are models. Mm-hmm. And animated models too, so they're not just cool, like stiff models.
Yeah, they look cool.
Hard to tell that they're not that they were not real people.
True.
But the one thing I will say about this infiltration into Alcatraz is it feels like one of those Navy SEAL recruitment videos.
It really does.
And I like that while, like, I know the other guys getting on the island, the terrorists, starting everything back up. I think the flame burst to increase the danger level is just a little bit too stupid.
Oh my god. Okay, so in the commentary, it was even brought up, hey, why is the weird generator thing running? He goes, well, we did talk about that for fun, really.
Yeah.
To increase the danger level.
Well, on top of that, like, the insurgents are, like, they got everything high-tech, is they're like, we sense there's 15 men who have infiltrated our base.
Oh my goodness, this is... Oh, and, okay, so I did read some back and forth talk online about people who are really big fans of this movie, because there is I was not aware of how large of a fan base this movie had. I knew it was, like, popular. I didn't realize there were people who, like, love this movie.
Chris, this is one of the big three of when I tell people that, hey, we were doing Nic Cage in November, have you done The Rock? It's always The Rock, Face Off,
sure,
and Con Air. Those are the three that everyone asks about.
No, like, I knew this had a cult following, But there are people who I had run into looking this up online who talked about how they saw it premiere night. They saw it opening night. They've been following this film for 20 years, 30 years. And they talk about how, oh, well, when we saw it, there was a couple of test versions, which is normal for that first run, and then a couple lines got reworked or cut for the very final version that we now have on DVD. And I guess the, like, initial lines here, especially once we get to the shower, were questionable and had some 13-year-old brains giggling.
Yeah.
Which, like, I'm a little sad that didn't make it, but I get it. Like, we were trying to go for serious, not tee-hee-hee penetration joke.
Yeah.
You know?
Hey, but we at least have the one line where we gotta say it.
We did.
Welcome to the Rock.
Oh my god. It happens and you feel that immediate, like, visceral reaction of, like, oh, take a drink.
Well,
they said the line.
It's also funny, too, because, yeah, they immediately get, like, killed off right away.
Oh, almost instantly. It feels like that was only there for the, like, trailer that was, like, had this scene in it. I'm not mad, though, because it was hilarious.
Oh, it's such a great way to just whittle down to the two we really have to care about to save the day.
Absolutely.
But it is an important scene because it is the real first part that we see Hummel start to break a little, where he really wanted 0 deaths in all of this. Like, he has that a little bit of purity in his idea that the government will follow through and no one will have to die because of what he's put into motion. Absolutely.
The other thing that I was impressed with is this movie doesn't shy away too much from the gore. I wouldn't call it horror movie level, but we get to see the full death scenes. Like, there's not pulling any punches here.
Yeah, I mean, it is heavy, and it's also just showing that Hummel and his men, the men he's hired, have conflicting methods, but they were, at the same time, they were pushed to a hard spot of...
Between a rock and a hard place, one might say?
Between the rock and a hard place.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, I get it. I mean, it, like you said, it is a brutal massacre of all the men that are supposed to be these top men who are going to infiltrate the rock.
It's kind of almost... you feel like it's even more action-y because the deaths are brutal, as opposed to just having the explosions and the quick gunfire and, like, a guy in the background be like, got me, bleh. Like, this feels a little bit more intense, and I think that adds interest because now we are kind of stuck in a very small set, essentially, because, again, they don't show the entirety of the island.
Yeah, well, a small cast. There's only 2. We have specific areas they want to go to, but at the same time, I think what makes it even more uneasy is that now that his men have had that taste for blood, they're already talking about, well, maybe we should start killing hostages to, like,
really
get the point across of, like, hey, pay us or we're gonna really do this. It's not just fellow military men, it's civilians now that we're gonna be hurting. And then also, like, while we're building these men as villains, this is where Womack is really shown as a villain he is in this movie.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Where, like, he's like, oh yeah, of course people die. We have to protect their secrets. We can't tell anyone of exactly what's happening. And I love the little bit where they throw in the Area 51 bullshit for good measure.
Just to, like, hit every possible conspiracy theory of the 1960s. Or the 1990s, yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, it's a slurry of, oh shit, of course the government's involved in X, Y, and Z.
And granted, this was the 90s, and so a lot of this was just like, tee-hee, isn't it hilarious? Like, it was a very tin hat community who believed that, like, Alcatraz held bombs and Area 51 held aliens. It was less of a widespread phenomenon than it is today. It was like 5 people, and we made fun of them.
Yeah, I was the one who was into, like, those conspiracies of, like, I X-Files. I was an X-Files fan as a kid, or I liked it enough. What I've seen of it.
Oh, absolutely. No, X-Files, but if you remember, even in X-Files, everyone spends a great deal of time making fun of Scully. And that was...
Mulder, not Scully's the
smart one who then, because she works with him, is then also teased. But, like, that was kind of the general mindset of, like, oh, it's fun to imagine, but we all know there's only, like, a handful of silly people who really believe it. As opposed to now where, because of the internet and because of life and recent history, like, it was less of a widespread, readily accessible thing.
Yeah, it's a way to bring back that, okay, locking up Mason for basically the better part of his life is believable.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I also like that when we return back to Mason and Goodspeed, is that he really isn't a good field agent.
No, he's not.
But it's a way to bring the two heroes really together, because, I mean, the only reason they were first together in this infiltration is Goodspeed was told to be by him. If he's pissing, you're holding his dick, basically.
Hilarious, yes.
But it's to give them a common ground of the possibility of losing someone important, because Mason is ready to get out of there, but it's like, okay, yeah, we have both something important to lose. If these men actually follow through, your daughter's dead, my pregnant wife is dead.
Yeah.
So that's how we really start really bonding these characters in a short time, because we're well over an hour into this movie by this point.
Yeah, and that is something that is interesting, is this movie is normal movie length, and yeah, the pacing of it picks up and kind of keeps rolling fast enough that you don't really notice how long the movie is.
Yeah, well, and it's also because they don't really get into the whole buddy.
No, they don't. They never feel like true friends, or like, oh, we understand each other on a deep level. It's like we both have common interests. Good enough.
Yeah, they're there, and not just that, but Goodspeed and Mason are the only two key parts to the rest of this mission.
Yeah, we really didn't need everyone else.
Yeah, I mean, it's also because Mason reminds Goodspeed that he's dangerous, and he's like, "I'll do anything to save my daughter, but cross me and I'm gonna kill you. I don't care if you have someone else back there."
Exactly.
But, I mean, we say that they don't buddy up, but they do kind of a little bit.
A little bit.
Goodspeed, I think, at one point was more of what Mason was, because Mason says a line of, "Winners go home and fuck the prom queen." And he's like, "Carla was the prom queen." He's like, "Oh. Yeah. But, yeah, it's a weird build-up between the two of them that somehow works, despite like only having a few lines of dialogue between each other.
And like, honestly, you don't need more than that. It's the bare minimum that we're given is good enough, because we now move on to like more action and more stuff happening.
Yeah, specifically the morgue, to show off Mason's skills, like physical skills, because we've seen a little bit, but we haven't seen actual combat skills. But it's also showing Goodspeed in control of the chemicals of like, hey, you have to be respectful of this, which is a smart way to handle something that dangerous.
Yeah, very true.
And I also like that he's not handling this well, of like the leg twitching. Is that something that happens all the time? He's like, yeah. He's like, can you undo it? He's like, you want me to kill him twice? Like there's a little bit of humor now between the main characters, that they're having a little bit of that banter back and forth.
Exactly.
And again, that Strand of Pearls configuration. So cool, so iconic.
Very iconic.
Probably the most iconic part of this entire movie outside of The Rock.
Honestly, yeah, I think so.
But I will say, the part that comes after this
is dumb.
Is dumb.
Is dumb.
Dumb, brutal, and one of the stupidest parts. The whole minecart battle thing, it reminds me of something that would come from an action game like Resident Evil 4 or like Uncharted.
100%. This feels like something that was made because the original movie had like a brief mine-based scene, and they were like, we'll put minecarts in it. Because as far as I can find, there are not minecarts on Alcatraz.
Yeah, there's like an entire elaborate mine system that they have to get through that even the great Mason doesn't know, because he didn't take this route, so he doesn't know this portion of Alcatraz.
I would like to remind everyone that real-life Alcatraz is a teeny tiny island. And yes, we dug down a little bit. Like, it's not like, oh, we only built up. We did dig down a little bit. We did not dig down that much.
Yeah.
We dug down just enough to put basements, essentially, in there. We couldn't even go far enough to get water. Like, you have to bring everything to the island.
Well, they talk about that one of the guys who almost got out of Alcatraz. He mentioned that they were crawling along some hot pipes and, like, they almost got out, or they thought they could have gotten out, but there was another renovation done that prevented them from getting out.
Yeah, like, this is the dumbest addition to Alcatraz that they could have picked. I mean, don't get me wrong, it is fun. It's silly, it's over the top, it's what I expect from the movie. But again, don't research Alcatraz before watching this film.
Yeah, I mean, lighting John C. McGinley on fire and dropping him into, for those who don't know him by name, he is Dr. Cox in Scrubs.
Yes, absolutely.
But, like, lighting him on fire and then kicking him into the cavernous pit.
Hilarious.
Brutal, too.
Brutal. Cool. Very action-filled.
Mm-hmm.
It has very little to do with actual Alcatraz, so, like, don't bother.
What it's there for is to show Goodspeed is learning, but he's still a little hesitant, but he still will kill. He will kill now to finish the mission.
Something that Cage really tried to, like, hammer home about this character is that, like, oh, yeah, man, this is really brutal for him. Mm-hmm. But because this is an action film and the way the music and the directing ended up, I don't know if I really picked up on that subtle detail that he tried to insert into the character. I feel like I just was like, yeah, he's been pushed to his limit. Let's go.
Yeah,
moving.
A man pushed to the corner.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, and also, I mean, that's the other thing, too, is it's a good portion, too, because the insurrectionists are also having to force their hand. They're like, okay, maybe we do have to start killing hostages. And this is where Goodspeed and Mason splitting up to use their strengths works so well, because Mason splitting up goes to distracts them from killing the other hostages. But Goodspeed is, while he's good at defusing, he's still not good enough to be skilled, and he gets ambushed.
Yeah.
So it's forcing the conflict even further by giving them a new person to be distracted with.
Yes.
Which I do like when he gets pulled through the wall and thrown through the window.
It is cool.
Really cool.
It is really cool.
But I do like Mason in this as well, where Mason, you're guessing he's probably killed some people back in his days.
Yeah, he gets the vibe.
Yeah, is calling out the hypocrisy in Hummel, where he's like, you're gonna kill millions over the death of 20 people?
Yeah, it is a nice self-aware nod.
Yeah, the memory of you, not even over people, it's them over the memories of these people.
Exactly.
And, like, I mean, it does a decent enough job of forcing Mason and Goodspeed to be kind of sidelined for just a fraction of a time frame. I mean, it's to push the plot, build the attention of the effects to bomb the island, potentially, of like, hey, okay, well, we're going to have to sacrifice some civilians now.
Exactly.
And I mean, it's a simple cell escape, but it's kind of a fun bit of like, this entire time that Goodspeed is rambling off to Mason, he's like, so you got out and we got back in, but now we're back in the cell, so how did you even get out of this most complex of all the other things we've been through?
And the answer is, well, you're in a cell with nothing, and he's in a cell with a whole ass bed and mattress.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
They really should have switched you guys, but whatever.
Yeah, well, and it's there to, like, build the tension of the other guys questioning of, like, okay, well, I mean, we have to show our hand of, like, we gotta kill someone or we gotta launch a missile. Again, the conflict continued emphasizing since Mason points out that Hummel isn't a killer.
True. Yeah.
And even then, like, while there's this point, too, of it's the point of no return for everyone. So Mason is gonna leave the island as well. And he gets pushed back into it because he's like, he comes back because he doesn't want Goodspeed's daughter or child, yeah, to experience the same thing that his daughter felt. So there's that, again, commonality to...
Yeah, they have a connection now.
Yeah, force both of them back into action. And even then, like, Hummel's forced to confront his own troops. And it's a good part, too, because the president's willing to kill people to hide the truth again, which also kind of makes Mason's journey or Mason's purpose feel pointless to begin with, because if the government's willing to kill 20 men in a combat zone and just leave them to die, what's going to stop them from killing a handful of tourists?
That's true. That's a good point.
Which I do have questions about the tourists, because we only get, like, little bits of them, and they're all, like, there's 3 or 4 of them in every room. Did they shit in front of each other?
They would have had to.
Yeah.
Would have had to. Prison style. Would have sucked. Have everyone face the wall or something.
Oh, man, and not even know that you're in what level of danger you actually are in.
Yeah, they have no idea that, like, they could be wiped from the face of the earth at any second.
Yeah. The worst thing that happened to them is they heard a little rumble and they had to poop in front of someone.
I mean, traumatizing, but not as bad as it could have been.
Yeah, depending on the person. I know some people don't poop every day, so...
That's true, and I think some people poop a lot, so, like, could have been really bad.
Don't look at me like that. But it's also a good way to show, like, be careful who you hire and hope they have the same determination.
Mm-hmm.
Because at least his one right-hand man, Baxter, they go down holding on to their principles together when the men do rebel. Like, no, we're gonna bomb shit because we're in this for the money. We're not in this for the message like you guys are.
True.
Yeah, but we do get a really, really dumb bit.
Yeah, but fun.
Yeah, I mean, there's some James Bond level of hijinks to this where
yes,
it's a good confrontation for good speed.
Yeah,
but it's his way to bring back Rocket Man and dumbly blast a bad guy through, brutally impaling this guy.
Yes,
out the window with a rocket.
Yeah, no, it does feel a little bit like he felt like he had to, like, justify that choice at the very beginning of the film, because again, Cage was the one who wanted that scene.
Yep.
And it felt like we really had to, like, lean back into it, and it's not the worst. It's a little humorous as far as, like, that's a dumb callback.
Mm-hmm.
I had forgotten about that character quirk.
Oh yeah, it's just such a really dumb bit that, like, again, like you said, it's one of those one-off lines that if you forgot about it, it might not make sense other than, like, oh, Rocket Man, because he launched the guy off with a rocket.
Ha ha.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Well, and this has actually some of the more iconic scenes in this movie, too, especially, like, dropping and catching one of the pearls.
Yep, it's very... I mean, there's a lot of cool little quick scenes.
Yeah, I mean, Mason coming back to get the sniper because his one comment earlier that a sniper's gonna get him.
Yeah, I mean, clever, but yeah.
Some brutal kills to the people, like just knocking them off platforms and impaling on iron rods.
Which would be rusty as hell.
Yeah.
Rusty. So, like, ugh, real bad. No good. But yeah, like, again, this movie doesn't shy away from the gore part of the action part.
No, and it does a good job building the parallel action of, okay, they're still trying to get, basically they've disarmed the bombs, but they're trying to get to launching the smoke, or like to say, hey, we've cleared the mission.
Don't shoot me. Yeah.
Popping one of the balls in the dude's mouth is really fucked up, but cool.
Yeah, I mean, that works.
And somehow poisons him as well, because like a little gets on him, or he breathes the littlest amount in.
I don't know, man. I think it's mostly an excuse to, like, use the thing we've been telling everyone about the whole movie.
No, not really even the whole movie, just the one scene in the beginning.
True.
To stab yourself in the heart with the antidote.
Yeah, also, like, what a strange, like, okay, this is...
It's good parallel action of, like, okay, if he's gonna die, everything's gonna get bombed, the tourists die.
Sure.
Like, but they end up it's like, okay, well, won't he save the day?
True,
and even then they still bomb part of Alcatraz, so he partially saves the day, but all the tourists are alive.
Yeah, everyone's okay, and they only bombed the part that was already falling down, probably, so it's fine.
Yeah, and I mean it's a cool ending. I mean, we have a little heart to heart at the end with Mason.
Yeah,
saved at the sunset. Basically, this movie takes place over the course of a day and a half, maybe 2 days.
Yeah, not that long, maybe. I don't know, it's action movie logic, so I don't know, time's a figment of our imagination, really.
Well, and also, imagine this too, because they haven't told his fiancé that he's still alive. They don't know he's alive because they think he got blown up in the explosion.
True.
That your government killed your husband with rockets.
One would have to hope that, like, whoever's supposed to tell her is, like, stalling a little bit, like, I don't really want to have to, like, go and tell her.
Yeah.
And then, like, he sends up the flare, he gets on the radio, he's like, oh, we're fine, except for the one guy, he's definitely dead, wink wink. And they're like, oh, thank God we don't have to tell his fiancé.
Yeah. Well, and honestly, by this point, I kind of started thinking of, like, how much Die Hard changed the action scenes as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Because this is another one where it's a desk jockey with minimal training forced into greatness.
Yeah, though I do feel like this one tried to logic that he has some more training.
Yeah.
He's just like rusty.
Yeah, just
which like I'll take.
Rusty and a better moral compass than most of the rest of the U.S. government, because he's doing justice behind the scenes of like,
True.
Hey, by the way, one of the skis that we came in here on, you can take one of those and escape Alcatraz one more time. It's not like they're gonna notice that one of these high-tech things is missing.
Very expensive high-tech things, yeah. At least not missing soon enough to come get you, probably.
Yeah, pretty much. And I mean, there's a little bit of comedy with Womack of like, where is his body? Oh, he's the one who blew up in the explosion. He was obliterated. I want to make sure there's proof that he's gone. It's like,
well, he's little bits sprinkled across the island, theoretically.
Yeah, what one can hope he got away and is somehow
living his best life in Mexico or something.
Or no, enjoying his time with his daughter, because remember...
that is what he wants.
Yeah, remember he tells him forget Maui, Fort Walton, Kansas.
So he sends him to Walton, Kansas. They add the fort to the name. Walton, Kansas is a real place. It's a little tiny town. It's not a fort. Their welcome picture on their Wikipedia is of their grain silo that has their town name painted onto it. So you know there's a lot happening there.
Yeah.
I did try and find the church because this movie films so much on location that I was like, well, did they go to Kansas to film a church? No, they didn't. They picked like a random ass church. As far as I can find, I couldn't find this church in Walton. There is, however, a church that looks strikingly similar to it in, I think, Wyoming?
Yeah, I mean, it's
just a generic church.
It's a generic church, but they're in Kansas, and there's...
mountains?
Yeah.
The Great Mountains of Kansas?
Yeah.
They're not the first movie to accidentally have mountains in Kansas, because I think a lot of the people who, like, use Kansas as location accidentally film in, like, Colorado.
Yeah.
Where you can see mountains.
Yeah, it's like in Jackie Chan's Rumble in the Bronx when there's mountains behind what's supposed to be the Bronx.
Yeah, so, Walton, Kansas, real place, not, this church, not there. So if you're looking to try and figure out who killed JFK by going to this church, good luck.
Yeah, that's the weird part is, like, the reason, as far as we know, that Mason's been holed up this whole time is because he knows who really killed JFK and hid the evidence.
Okay, this is one of the few times where a movie really does kind of throw a, hey, wouldn't a second one be fun? And I really bite for the bait. Because this, I would like to know. That's very interesting.
But who's he gonna go to with it?
Honestly, like, and at this point, JFK is already dead. What would this change? What would this do as an impact on the nation?
It could change everything.
That's the implication the movie leads.
Yeah.
They really lean into it as he drives away in the sunset with his fiancée wife.
What a great honeymoon. Stopping in middle of nowhere, Kansas to...
Really, like, nowhere, Kansas. Yeah. Not even like, oh, we're on our way, we'll just swing by. No. Absolutely not.
Yeah. But The Rock, I think The Rock is an interesting movie in itself. Because Cage did do one kind of action-y movie before this.
Yeah.
Well, kind of two. I mean, he did Firebirds, which is very much so a helicopter attempt to capitalize on Top Gun.
Yeah.
And then I'd give Amos and Andrew kind of a similar along the lines, but this is what really...
This was a big one.
Yeah, this is the one that not only... Well, I mean... Bad Boys kicked off Michael Bay's career, but this is what put Nic Cage on the map as a action actor. He went on to do Con Air the next year, same with Face Off the next year. I mean, he did a family comedy, romance movie, the remake of Wings of Desire, City of Angels. Yeah. But he did Snake Eyes, 8mm, Bringing Out the Dead, Gone in 60 Seconds.
He really had quite the run there of action movies for a while, and then in Cage fashion, he decided he needed to do other stuff. And then he got into debt and kind of had to do whatever he was told for a bit.
Well, not everything he was told, because he
did have a lot of agency and just odd choices.
Yes, and I will give him credit. The reason he acted so much, I learned recently, is because, again, he had a bad accountant. Someone didn't tell him that, hey,
you're really wasting a lot of money here.
Not just wasting, but the guy wasn't running the money like he should. So when he went bankrupt, Cage is like, you know what? I owe this money. I'm actually gonna pay it. So that's why he's in so much weird shit recently.
I do appreciate that.
Up to a while. I think he just kind of fell into, like, he'll do whatever now.
But at the same time, it ended up being really good for him because even though his action career was very strong, I mean, The Rock, a great movie, kicked off a long line of great movies for him, I don't think he would have had the same standing power and, like, people would not know him the way that we do now if he hadn't been forced to take some of the weirder stuff. And granted, he did still have a lot of say on, like, what he took. He did pick movies he was, for the most part, interested in. But there was definitely more of a push to break out of what would have been a pretty standard and, like, typecast-ish role for him. Because he really went on a spree of maybe not exactly the same character in the same way that, like, Ed Harris ends up playing almost the same guy every time. But, I mean, a lot of these action films feel similar. Like, you can watch them back to back to back and kind of lose what's happening at times.
Yeah, very, very much so. But, yeah, it's definitely an interesting movie. While we complain about a bunch of little details that just are kind of like, this is really dumb.
Truthfully, for an action film, though, only complaining about little details is a pretty good deal.
Yeah, I mean, it keeps you entertained enough. And yeah, music's distracting, that one song specifically. Outside of that, I couldn't tell you any other recognizable piece of score from this movie.
I was honestly surprised to learn that Zimmer worked on the music at all.
Yeah.
Because it was so forgettable.
Yeah. I don't know. It's one of those ones where, because I didn't grow up with Nic Cage as the action hero that a lot of people grew up with him as.
I grew up with him as kind of like a quirky character instead of action.
I grew up with him as the family man, and that was really my only experience with him outside of Ghost Rider. Because I didn't watch...
Sure.
Those were the only two movies of his I'd seen until I was in college and I watched National Treasure, and then...
Which I would argue is still in the family vault house, because it's a very family-appropriate film. A lot of kids watch it.
Yeah, no, other than now I think there's like maybe 9 or 8 of his movies now I haven't seen. So
Sure.
Yeah. So, Chris, good, bad, weird, what do you rate The Rock?
For me, I can't say this movie is just good. Because while it is fun, while I had a good time watching it, and while I do feel like there was a lot more effort put into it for an action film than the old standard for action, it's not quite that good. There's still enough of it for it to be bad. So I'm gonna give it a good bad. There's no weird to it. It's not getting a trifecta from me. I still had a great time, but this movie doesn't really stand up to any, like, level of critique. Which isn't a bad thing. It's an action film. It was meant to be fun. I mean, it's a Michael Bay film, for Christ's sakes. But for the amount of effort that a lot of people put into it, it didn't quite hold the buckets of water they claimed to have put in.
Yeah, I give it a good bad for me. I enjoy the hell out of this movie. The action's fun. Music's iconic, but a bit distracting.
Yeah.
But it really keeps you invested and interested, because even though there's it takes over an hour to get to Alcatraz.
Yeah, well,
it still is interesting outside of that, because it is the way it's building up of, like, okay, well, we've introduced this character. Oh shit, now he's got a pregnant wife or fiance. Oh shit, now she's coming to the place that he thinks is going to be a drill. Oh shit, now he has teeth in the game, and now Mason's got to get involved too. They do a good enough job of building the characters without having the entire movie be about their relationship. Their relationship is enough to get them through the mission.
Yeah, and there's definitely enough good to be interesting. We talked loosely about how, like, it's got, like, loose magic-based chemical knowledge. It's loose enough that, unfortunately, this description of this gas was used to describe gas that was supposedly in I think it was Iraq in 2002, which unfortunately did lead to our war in Iraq. And so the director did say that he was really devastated that that's the legacy of this film.
Yeah.
That was not his intention, but I'll give him a good for, like, depiction, at least, of something semi-accurate.
Hey, I mean,
confused some upper people.
What was that guy? Tom Clancy. I know in one of his books, he describes something, and the government's like, who's your source? He's like, no one was my source. What are you talking about now? And it's like, oh, they had a secret weapon that he accidentally exposed as a piece of, like, fictional military weaponry.
Granted, I think part of the reason why I think is also the writer Wesselberg talked a good deal about, at least online, about the legacy and how he was famously, like, he outspoken against the war, he was opposed to it, and he laughingly said, like, we'd asked a couple people about the chemical and, like, is this wild enough for a movie? And they were like, yeah, anyone with real eyes for chemistry would recognize this immediately as the movie The Rock's dumbass chemical. Yeah. And so I'll give him an extra little, point for accidentally making really compelling lies.
Yeah.
Oops.
Hey, sometimes you make something up and it happens to be right.
Yeah, sometimes.
So, Chris, do you recommend The Rock?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I don't know if I would recommend it as, like, a specific watch for any specific reason. It's good. It's a lot of fun. Is it an excellent review of Cage or Connery or Harris? No. Is it an excellent Bay film? No. But it's good overall. Like, it's fine to watch. It's a good time. It has enough bad for people to sit here for an hour and some and bitch about it. So, yeah, watch it.
Yeah, I definitely recommend it. I mean, it's iconic for a reason. It's not some of these lesser action movies that Nic Cage has been in.
I agree.
It definitely holds its ground, even though, yeah, when you start picking it apart, there's a lot of stupidity to it. So, yeah. But definitely watch. If you're a film lover, it's worth the watch. It's iconic. Just do it, you cowards.
Absolutely. Is it worth hunting down the Lost Criterion collection? No. Not really.
I did not hunt this down. I just stumbled upon it.
I know you did, and you are an outlier as far as buying DVDs go. Normally, I am very picky about my DVDs, and while I normally really like the Criterion collection for DVDs, I normally really like the extras they add in, I did get through both DVDs worth of content. To me, just watch the movie when it's streaming for free.
Yeah, I agree. So, but that's our first dive into Nic Cage November, into the action bits outside of Renfield.
How exciting.
I am looking forward to our continued celebration of this national treasure again this year. But
a delight as always.
I do gotta say, time is flying by. It's almost like the year has passed in 60 seconds and Christmas will be here soon.
Christmas, Mariah Carey has already de-thawed, so
no.
Christmas is practically
I have yet to hear it. She does not exist for me right now.
She sent out an AI-based video of herself de-thawing for Christmas. She claims that Christmas is now. Even though I would argue that the cranberry sauce has yet to be consumed.
Fuck off. Let Nic Cage November have its moment.
He needs more Christmas films. That way we can have Nic Cage Christmas and Thanksgiving.
Well,
year-round Cage.
I mean, there are technically, he did the Christmas Carol.
He did. I need Cage to do one film for every holiday, so that way we could, like, really, a year of Cage.
Fair.
A Cage-based Easter flick, if you will.
I think we've done all his holiday movies outside of the Christmas Carol.
He really hasn't done, like, a ton of them.
He's done 3.
That's more than I would have guessed, but not that many.
Yeah, so. But, anywho, this has been the Good, the Bad, and the Weird podcast.
Thanks for listening.
Peace! Thank you for stopping by this here town of the Good, the Bad, and the Weird. We appreciate your listenership, and if you want more of our takes in your life, feel free to check us out on social media at The Good, the Bad, and the Weird Podcast, or TGTBTW for short. As well, if we missed a fact, your favorite part of a movie, or just have a suggestion and want to reach out and say howdy, feel free to email us at tgtbtwpodcast@gmail.com. And feel free to join our Discord at The Good, the Bad, and the Weird Podcast, where we talk about movies, just share random banter here and there.
And always check out our podcasters, streamers, or any other content creator we shout out in our episodes. We really appreciate it. And as always, thank you for listening. Peace.